Oh, dear General Mackenzi. There is a Kate Mackenzi. I never had a class with her. I never had a conversation with her. And I don't have any hard feelings against her. And I don't have any feelings, in other words, I don't know the Scalora family. The exceptions with the Claudia Scalora, which is brief, and they were recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, confirmed by people associated with her cousins, involved with and as Wethersfield Police, like with Joe DiMauro family, and other police forms with the same department, foreign and domestic, people from Russia, people from Afghanistan, involved with predicate acts with people who went to my grammar school, who said they went to my grammar school. I don't know if I never saw them on the campus. These are also people involved with the campus putting fake things into databases. Also how as victim predators, also how no one knows. Everyone's speaking as well, I don't see the data. That's why it's so important how they don't respond to, in other words, they hide in wire crimes and identity thefts and frauds roles and uses of the campuses that are simultaneously intercities connected. Because they're needing to hide illusions, because they're criminally foreign influence uses of all the locations. And when you have that, they hide their valuing roles with worse at other locations. In other words, there are a whole bunch of people involved with those demonstrate and confess and demonstrate this deal. They had all kinds of motivations, natures, needs, interests, not their own, juxtaposed with them as their own, as everyone's child abused relative to what are the answers, why were Jim Crow laws standing, stuff like that. Not using theory. Theories are being and having been used offensively to keep self-valued. That nature of logic that is only the ones only tied to each podium. Excuse me. Because it is also relevant to where and how there are per them. Even if it's only, in other words, I'm not a police form, not a judge, not a prosecutor. Judges and prosecutors originally and still with the police forms, there are certain kind of services that we knew that we have to say good, otherwise we're not speaking about leadership or defense proper, the way the breaching method needed. The breaching method forced slavery, and they forced roles with it, and they forced our founders to hide their real roles with counters to the slavery against everyone, which that was. It wasn't just colonization. That's just one of the things people agree to call it. So they could keep maintained unities that are criminally foreign influenced. Not hyper-unity. And not hyper-unity that is also positive unto itself, which can only be discerned one way, not using science, not using theory, but not by accident. They have a theory of relativity offensively affront to relativity science and relativity hyperscience, because the sciences share an identity. Because in being an individual, being grouped, and being the species identity of volume/S, those are three distinct identities of simultaneous nature that share another identity of simultaneous nature. So I'm referring to this as a hyper-simultaneous nature, and where and how its identity of value progression, its identity of relationship to itself, is the value of what causes inventions to work or not, and to simultaneously be further positive or negative or not. In the news, I don't know which news channel it was on the television, but one of them referred to a person. They said someone was indicted for a murder, which would imply, I'm not a lawyer, it would imply that there is interstates or international corruption involved and or it would demonstrate further and further how originally and still all natures of sophistication, all natures of identity, the grounds, voices, originally still are employed to defenses as breaching screens, fact, cheap in nature oriented, of and as roles, needs, and natures used. Nature, in other words, the nature, in other words, when they pretend, oh, this is against democracy, they want us to fight because they're hiding the motivations. They have people online. Someone referred to me as immature, which is one of the people that were immature behind my back. I don't even know them just because they were from my area, my location, involved with wire crimes at Wethersfield Police through time. So they set up whoever's going to be the chief into a trap to keep victim predators employed syntactically. So I'm trying to prevent that. That's why I've been asking to get the names of the interbranch that switch names through time. Before the World Trade Center attack, and then distinctly after it, and leading up to it, I had been reporting things because the strangers had reported them to me, things that where and how the law obligates you to tell on it. And then, in other words, they were doing that because these were also simultaneously, I knew I had to do it because they were simultaneously confessing, demonstrating, and recording. What is actually recorded was where and how they were differentially criminally foreign influenced with interbranch families and the foreign, and with overt criminal enterprises and with private ones, and on off their locations, on off all kind of fact cheap nature phenomenon, like where candidates with unions could lie about each other. In other words, readings of the law and exploitations of exceptions and of exception nature. One can't teach properly about English grammar if one's not teaching about how it is about exception / exception nature, where and how one complete identity of volume as your complete identity is, has all the parts of your body as a semi-nature relationship to that complete identity, and where how that complete identity is again in relationship to what works or not because of what is actually simultaneously valued and what is actually hyper simultaneously valued, relevant to where and how positive can be used for negative, truths can be used for lies, pretending to be about proper evidence reception and defenses of that and premises treatments. They can be criminally foreign influenced. They can be roles offensively with uses of juxtaposed natures of abuses of each age of fact treatment nature sixthly distinctly